How to actually recover from burnout. Hey, I'm Sheena Shuey. I'm a burnout therapist and business mentor, and I'm going to do a little walk and talk therapy series because I thought, why not? So let's talk about how to actually recover from burnout. So as I've mentioned in some of my videos, if you've been following me for a little while, you'll know that one of the things around burnout is I teach my clients is actually how to rest. A lot of us have been conditioned into not resting. And when I say rest, I don't actually mean sleeping. I don't actually mean not doing anything, though it could be that. What I actually mean is learning how to be present in the moment, learning how to not be doing things just for productivity. And I want to break that down a little bit more. So sometimes my clients will say to me, oh Sheena, like I took a break from work and I went for like a 3-hour jog. Now don't get me wrong, if the purpose is to get out in nature and connect with nature, and during that jog you sit down and you take some photos and you're touching plants and you're taking it all in, that's restful. If the point is to burn as many calories as possible, can you see how there's an outcome attached to it, a productivity outcome? That's what we're trying to avoid. So when I say rest, I want you to do activities not based on the outcome, but based on the process. So again, if you want to do some art, do the art just for the sake of the enjoyment, rather than I want to have something I can hang in my house that I can show off a little bit to people, right? Like there's an outcome attached to that. So just doing things for the sake of doing them. Yeah. So it's the same thing with spending time with friends and family. Do it just because you want to, not because there's an outcome attached to it. And so I noticed on one of the videos I had that went kind of viral around burnout, and just generally a lot of my videos around burnout, when I have people from the US go, oh, well, that's great, but you can't rest in American capitalism. Something else that I teach about rest in relation to burnout is micro moments. So what typically I see in business owners, women in corporate, a lot of other people, is when they're having a break, okay, it's 10 o'clock, let me make myself a coffee or a cup of tea or something like that. They're not just having the coffee, smelling the coffee, enjoying it, taking it in, and actually having a 5 or 10 minute break. What they're actually doing is checking emails. Oh, while I'm on my break, I'll make that appointment that I need to do. Oh, I'll quickly check my Instagram, or I'll quickly post on Instagram. So again, there's so much productivity and outcomes happening. And so what I talk about is having micro moments of rest through the day. If you're having a 15-minute break, have a 15-minute break where you're just being present. So maybe you go outside, stand in the sunshine, listen to some music. If you have a chance, do a little dance, regulate your nervous system, yeah? So that's what I mean, is that if you do those micro moments through the day, let's say you're dysregulated. Let's say your nervous system is feeling, 7 out of 10, right? So you're really energetic, you're stressed, but you're not completely overwhelmed yet. By the end of the day, after all the things you have to do, you might be at a 10 out of 10, which is why you're drinking in the evening, you're snapping at the kids, you're doom scrolling, all of those things. So what we do with those micro moments is even if I get you from a 7 to a 6, and then the next break, it's the same thing again, between your first 15-minute break and your second 15-minute break of the day, you might be back up to a 7. But these little micro moments keep bringing you back down to a 6. That's going to have a major impact. So you might finish your work day at a 7 out of 10. But the good thing about a 7 out of 10 is you might be a little bit strung out, a little bit stressed, but you're not going to feel completely overwhelmed, snapping at your family, breaking out like you would at a 10 out of 10. And this is where teaching you how to rest is so important, because for a lot of us, we've been conditioned that if we're not constantly doing, if we're not constantly productive, we're lazy in some way. I just did, that awkward turnaround you have to do when you're going on a walk, and you just choose a random spot and you turn around. And so here we go. And so a lot of that conditioning comes from, particularly if you're a millennial as well, like myself, is our parents often didn't teach us what leisure looks like. A lot of people grew up not seeing their parents just having fun on a Sunday. No work, no anything, A lot of that has to do with religion too, because a lot of people are no longer religious, because rest is part of a lot of religions actually. And so, isn't this little stream just beautiful, by the way? Just take that in, the sounds for a minute. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's really gorgeous. So a lot of us we didn't see parents leisurely about, didn't see them valuing rest, valuing joy. And so we get conditioned that we have to be constantly on because they were constantly on. And I don't want to get mad about this either, because I think sometimes our parents had to be on, particularly if you had immigrant parents, like they were just trying to make ends meet. And so they were acting from a place of survival, and they too had parents who came from often World War II, World War I, really kind of dire times where not being on could literally cost you your survival. So it's remembering that, and this is why it breaks the cycle when you teach your kids, and even if you don't have kids, it's you get to break the cycle when you go, I'm actually going to prioritize rest. It's not lazy, it's just me taking care of myself and my nervous system, so that when I am working, I actually am more productive. When I am with my kids, I'm more present. When I am with my partner, I'm actually with them in the moment, and I'm not dysregulated, and I'm not burnt out, and I'm not shutting down. I can actually be. And so I think that that's a really important thing to remember, is that a lot of us had that conditioning, and this is why you are burnt out. Because if you got shamed when you were laying on the couch as a teenager, oh my gosh, you're so lazy, why are you not doing more, your room is a mess, go do that, or go play outside. If they're constant on you about you're lazy, you're lazy, you're lazy, you internalize that. And so you might even think to yourself, when people are resting, when people actually take their lunch breaks, when people set boundaries with their time, that they're being pretentious or over the top, or I had to work this hard to get here, so you have to work this hard. That mentality can pass on very quickly. Is to really think about, what kind of world do you want to live in? What kind of society do you want to live in? Do you want one where people are actually paid for their value or their time? Because sometimes you can be paid for your time, but it's not valuable. I know when I was still in corporate, there was so much time wastage, but there was still expectations. You had to be there from this and this time, and it was so rigid. And this is why I love being a business owner, because I know what the tasks are I need to do and how long they take. And once they're done, they're done. And if I wasn't okay with rest, I would fill that time with other activities. And don't get me wrong, I still struggle with this. But now that I've gotten better with rest, I'm taking care of myself physically, because let's say I only work 3 or 4 hours a day. Could I fill that with other tasks and chasing and doing? Of course. But I'm making the choice to take care of myself or my children, to actually take my kids to the park. So pick them up after school, be there for them before school, you know, all of those things. I'm making a point of that. So this is why it's so important, because a lot of women will come to me wanting to earn more and work less, which is what we work on. But if we don't work on letting go of the conditioning around rest, they'll have more time up their sleeves and they'll just end up filling it. And the same is probably true for you too. And so I just want you to remember that you are just as worthy sitting on the couch, watching your favorite movie on Netflix, dancing in the kitchen to your favorite jams, making a piece of artwork that no one's going to see, going for a stroll because you want to be in nature, not because of the calories or the burn or the workout itself. I just want to remind you that you are just as worthy doing that as you are making money, as you are working, as you are cleaning. Yeah, you are just as worthy, because being born and being a human being and being the amazing soul and creature that you are already made you worthy. Look at this beautiful butterfly here. You are just as worthy. This butterfly is just as worthy, whether it's flapping its wings or just chilling out on a leaf. It's beautiful just as it is. Just as you are. Alright, beautiful soul. Hope you enjoyed this first installment of Walk and Talk Therapy. I know I did. And again, nothing on social media ever replaces real therapy. We all know this, but we have to disclaim everything these days. So you take care. I believe in you. And I hope that you believe in you too. Alright, beautiful soul. Take care. Bye.